Welcome to another episode of Band Director Bootcamp, the podcast with productivity and wellness tips for busy band directors. I'm your host, Lesley Moffat, and I'm really grateful to be sharing this platform with you. As busy band directors, we know you don't have lots of time to watch lengthy professional development webinars, so we share 20-minute tidbits with takeaways you can use to support you with professional longevity and a healthier life. And I was stalking somebody on Facebook because I saw some cool stuff he was doing, so guess who our guest is today? This guy named Keith Ozsvath, who has been posting stuff about ChatGPT. And if any of you know me at all, you know that that's my thing. And so this is just a great excuse to share with anybody out there who hasn't done much, or you've done stuff and you just don't know how to get it to do more. Well, we're going to nerd out about that stuff today and talk about how you can do it, because Keith has found, as have I and lots of other people, that it can be like having a digital assistant or a band mom in your pocket who does all the things for you and you still get to do the music teaching. So anyway, I just met Keith and I want to introduce him to you. He's in the Chicago suburbs. He's a middle school band director who's been teaching 28 years. He's also a trombone player and does a lot of other teaching of things like repertoire planning, and has a website which we'll put in the show notes. We'll have a link to it because he shares a whole lot of resources, because like me, he wants to help and support the music ed community. And he's also a busy dad with 3 kids, so he doesn't have time to waste doing stuff that ChatGPT can do for him. So, hey, thanks for not being freaked out when I stalked you and asked you to do this, Keith.
I'm just kind of giggling here at all your introductions. So thank you. I'm really happy to be here. Flattered.
Yeah. Well, I know we could talk for days about this, but you have been doing some stuff with ChatGPT. And before we dive into the stuff you're doing, we both Keith and I have been looking at it for 2.5, 3 years, and have found it to be indispensable in professional and personal life stuff. And I find that with people I'm working with and helping with it too, and in my own place, oftentimes I'll get better results when I use AI, or specifically the chat GPTs and the like, than I would get if I was trying to do this with a tired brain after working all day and trying to fix dinner for the family and doing all the things. There's just this mental load we all carry, and sometimes help with that can help us be in a better mental and physical and emotional place. And I'm all about productivity tips and wellness tips. And so ChatGPT has allowed me and a whole lot of other people to free up some time so that they can then take care of themselves, do the things they want to do and love, have more family time. It's great because it's not like you're sacrificing quality. You still have to be an expert. You still have to know all the things, but it is such a great tool. And so, Keith, why don't you tell us a little bit about you and how you started going down this crazy rabbit hole?
So I don't know, it was probably in the fall of 2022, or maybe the early year of 2023, started hearing a lot about ChatGPT in the news. And I have been like way into technology for a long time. In fact, that's how I started my website. I was just chronicling my daily use of technology. And this goes back to like the Web 2.0 movement of the early 2000s, when all the websites became more interactive and I was just finding fun ways to use them in class. So I was almost like a diary. I was writing a blog post every day, and I did it for like 30 days in a row. And I've just kind of always been into technology. But I feel like this is a lot like Web 2.0, where it's revolutionizing the way we work and the way we operate, and it's really invading all parts of our life, professionally, personally, but I think it's a good thing, because it really, like you said, it does a lot of the heavy lifting. In fact, I just came across something that says have AI do 80%, and then you do the other 20 of polishing, making sure it's accurate, putting the finishing touches on it. And that really, that 80-20 philosophy really works well, I think, for ChatGPT, especially with teachers.
Yeah, I have a lot of people that are like, oh, it's not ethical to use it, blah, blah, blah. And my whole thing is, what is the outcome? Like, if the outcome is for you to write emails to parents that are informative and gives them the information they need and blah, 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 and you're not relieving or revealing any personal information about students, but you
Right.
use it to help you write that email and do that. And you get an email that communicates what you want to communicate and does it much faster and easier and with a lot less stress on you. That's not cheating. That's just getting
Right.
you the outcome much faster.
Right. And I feel like I'm not a great writer. And when I'm writing parent emails or emails to colleagues, or professionally, I spend a lot of time making sure it sounds good. What's the tone? What's the grammar? Does this sound, do I not sound like an idiot? And ChatGPT, I can put in the information that I want to get across in the email, and then I can add the tone. I want this to be casual but professional. And then I hit enter, and then I can then critique it further and say, okay, I don't like this part. This is way too long. Can you make it only 2 paragraphs? And I need the tone a little bit more lighthearted. And just by saying that, okay, we're getting somewhere now. And then I might not take all the parts that it gives me, but just a little, 80%, 90% of it, and put it in and change some things, and boom, I'm done. The mental, the mental stress that I did not have to go through to make that email sound great, it was just lifted. And I do it all the time. I feel like I don't use it every day, but I use ChatGPT a few times a week for emails. My friend and I, we run the concert band camp at the Music for All organization. They have a summer camp at Ball State University in Muncie, Indiana. And so we're hiring clinicians, we're hiring conductors. And just today, when I reached out to the conductor, I had to change some information, and I had ChatGPT write that email for me. And then I just tweaked it, made sure it was correct. So exactly what you said, it's that heavy lifting that ChatGPT can help with. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's our thoughts.
I liken it to if you're watching a kid struggle playing a passage. Like if I was watching a kid try to go from F to F sharp for fifth, I could tell them there's an alternate position for that F, and they could go 5, 6, right. Or I could be an asshole and not tell them and make them work harder. Well, ChatGPT is like the alternate position, right? It can help you get something done faster and easier. Maybe it's a little more out of tune, or you got to be a little careful about using, because it's an alternate fingering book. But it's that same kind of thing. It's like it makes a process easier and it gets results.
Right. And let me give an example of how ChatGPT takes your ideas but takes it one step further. So just this week on Monday, we're about 4 weeks away from our winter band concert. And I usually do some type of reflection activity with my students where I want them to really think about, okay, what level, where are you at playing your music? Are you, let's use a grade. Are you at a D? Are you at a C? Are you at a B? Where are you at? Are you only playing notes and rhythms? Can you play any dynamics? So I usually do some type of reflection activity, but I get bored with stuff. Okay, I've been using this. I need to change it up. So I wanted to do some type of log with squares where I wanted the kids to identify a piece of music that we worked on in rehearsal, pick a section a place where you need to improve. Okay, identify those measures, then write down what it is. Do you need to do notes and rhythms? Do you need to work on articulations, dynamics, fingering, something, any combination of those? Okay, so I'll read you the prompt I put. Create a worksheet that students can use to write down sections of music to work on at home. Include a place for the name, date, piece, measures, and what to work on. I like this exported as a table or a worksheet. And then here we go. It gives me formatted as a worksheet. So it looks like there's a place for name, there's a place for date. And then it gives me the cells, like in a spreadsheet, of my piece title, measures, my focus area, notes in progress. And then here's what I love, additional notes. Goals for today's practice. What went well? What needs more work? So these are things that I didn't even think about. And here's ChatGPT telling me, these are some things you might be interested in. Yep. Okay. So then I responded, and I said, for the additional practice notes section, it might be a good place for students to ask questions. Great idea. Here's an updated version. Okay. And then it gives me another one that says a line for questions for my teacher. Holy cow. How cool is that? I could leave a section for that. So then I continued to tweak it, and then it came up with the idea of the students give themselves a rating, 1 through 5. It gave me the scale. 5 would be excellent. 1 would be, I think they said needs work. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's brilliant. So the last line of each practice log that we fill out at each rehearsal is the kids give themselves a rating, 1 through 5. And I include that log right at the bottom of their worksheet. So all this week in rehearsal, we do another line. Okay, kids, fill this out. Give yourself a rating. So there were things that I hadn't even thought about that ChatGPT suggested. And this is another example of why I love it. It's not just helping me organize information, make it sound better, but it's actually like an assistant director going, hey, we should include this. I'm sold.
And on that, if you do it as a Google form, you can take the Google sheet when it's done and you can put it into chat and have it give you tables and graphs. Show me where are my kids struggling the most? What do kids need the most? And it will summarize it for you so that you can, there's your next rehearsal, right? It already is going to tell you, here's what kids have said they need help with.
Right.
So, and it's brilliant. Fascinating what it can do. And then the results are you got your kids get better help. They get better as playing. They're learning techniques that how they can practice at home because you're giving them a format to help them.
Yeah, so, exactly. Yep.
And it doesn't take a boatload of time when you do that. One of the things that because I've seen the value in chat, everybody can do it, and maybe most of you have if you're using it. You can go in and do a lot of things in the settings and personalize it so it knows like I'm a band director and da-da-da.
Yes,
I've done one for my personal one from business. And so that's really helpful. So and you can have it learn your tone. Like I uploaded to some of my writing so that it would know my tone and sound more like me. So there's a lot of things you can do so so your prompts don't have to be as detailed down there. And just go ahead.
So I was going to say, so the first assignment for the ChatGPT class that I'm teaching, it's just a 4-week class at Vandercook College of Music, all online. And we meet once a week just to talk about and show some tools. And so that way when I set them up for success for their assignments. But the first week was just learning some prompts. There's different formats for prompts. So just having them enter in information differently. But I did share with them that once you do this, like ChatGPT learns you about you, and like it knows that I'm a middle school band director. It knows that I also teach online courses. It knows that I've asked it cooking questions, so it knows that I have a Blackstone and I have a smoker because I've asked it recipe stuff too. That's the great thing. Like I don't have to be so formal with my prompts anymore. I can be more conversational and still get the same result.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the reasons I've started doing custom GPTs, and one of them is Band Director Buddy. I've pre-programmed that with a lot of stuff. For example, Ruth Peterson is a remarkable band director who has compiled lists of marginalized and underused or underplayed composers, and she had this list of rep, and so we've loaded that in there. So if people are looking for some of that, I can update it and continue to, and it knows if you're people using Band Director Buddy, it's got a lot of stuff in there that it's just going to filter everything through and the like. And I've done other ways you can use things like this is I personally have uploaded what we call book bots for people. I've done it with my own and with other people's, where you take your book, like I wrote my book, so I just take the PDF and put it in there. And then clients or subscribers can have the book bot available, and they can literally talk into their phone, into their book bot GPT through chat, and they can talk to it and it's like having me coach them, because my book is the resource there. And it's freaky weird, but it's amazing because people can interact live with your books or resources. I worked for a guy who's a plumber who hired me to help take all of this plumbing, all the PDFs about plumbing stuff that you just can't find online easily. And that's now his GPT that he gives to his employees. So they've got access to all of it.
So that's so cool.
It's freaking amazing. It's just, it's really cool. I know we could talk all day about this, but before we do, I want to take a minute and thank our sponsors, the Empower Music Educator Academy, where they help busy band directors create successful programs, build supportive communities, and feel freaking amazing by providing productivity and wellness tips that support professional longevity and a healthy life.
Band directors, let's get real. You love your job, but some days it feels like it's taking everything you've got. The late nights, endless emails, rehearsals, fundraisers, and performances. It's all amazing, but at what cost? You're exhausted, overwhelmed, and barely have time for your family or yourself. What if there was a way to have it all? A thriving music program and time and energy to enjoy life outside of work? Imagine shaving 7 to 10 hours off your weekly workload while achieving even better results. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, meet Band Director Buddy GPT, your new partner in productivity and wellness. Designed specifically for busy band directors like you, it's built within ChatGPT to simplify your most time-consuming tasks. From concert planning to grant applications, fundraising ideas to meal prep strategies, Band Director Buddy has your back. Just type or say what you need and get tailored advice instantly, backed by decades of experience and research. But that's not all. When you subscribe today, you'll also get a free download of my first book, I Love My Job, But It's Killing Me, and exclusive access to the companion BookBot GPT. It's like having me right there with you, providing personalized solutions whenever you need them. The value of all this? $299. But for a limited time, during the Band Director Bootcamp special, it's just $3.99 a month. That's less than your favorite coffee and way better for your health and sanity. Ready to reclaim your time and transform your teaching? Hit the link in our show notes and start your journey today. Band Director Buddy GPT, because your passion deserves balance.
All right, we're back for a little bit of more nerd talk with Keith Ozsvath. We're just having a blast because we're all things ChatGPT. You guys out there, listen, if you haven't tried it, you need to. If you're not sure what to do, I have free stuff on YouTube. Go to ChatGPT for busy band directors. Watch my free 45-minute video, and you'll be doing stuff. You'll love it. You will love it. I just can't say enough about how it's such a cool tool. Tell us some specifics, Keith. Tell us some ways you've used it in your classroom. I know you've told us a couple. Give us a couple more concrete examples.
Sure. So, for example, rubrics. If you need to freshen up a rubric, if you need to create a rubric from scratch, it works great for that because it's very objective. You know, you can set your criteria. You want a 4-point, a 3-point, a 5-point rubric. You want it standards-based. What do you want included? Tone quality, rhythm. You put all of those objective information in there, and then also say, I want it in a table format, and then it spits it all out. You can copy that right into Google Sheets, format it some more, and then just copy and paste and put that right into Google Docs. And there you go. You got your rubric. Huge time saver there if you were trying to do it from scratch, especially if you're a young teacher, where you need to create a lot of your own materials. And I feel like rubrics are really personal. Like people like to have certain things in there, and it really depends on the kids you teach and the area you teach in. And so that's why I feel like they're really personal. So everyone has their favorite kind of rubric that they want. So it's great for that. Writing program notes. I mean, fantastic if you get a piece of music that has a lot of information about the piece in there. But if you have a piece that there isn't a lot in there, ChatGPT is great for creating some program notes. Because I don't know about you, but I like to include that stuff in our programs for the parents to read and know more about the piece. And it's also great for the kids to know more too. Researching composers, musical periods, anything historical events. It really, yes, I know you can go on to Google and Google that stuff too, but what it does when let's say you want to research, let's say programmatic music, okay? It'll give you the information you want, but then you can kind of massage it and say, hey, could you create some questions I can use with my students about programming music? Can you take this information and turn it into a presentation, like using Brisk, which is that handy dandy little AI tool that will turn information automatically into a presentation for you, or turn a website into a presentation. There's also Gamma, which will help you create presentations with information. Also just creating, like, having taught for 28 years, I have a lot of materials, but I like to tweak it and change it. So like we are knee deep in key signatures right now. So I was using ChatGPT to help me create some materials and freshen up some worksheets and some things I maybe not had thought about. And if you want to give like an assessment or have a pretest through Google Forms, ChatGPT is the way to go. You can put in that information and say, I want it as multiple choice questions. There you go. You have your pretest right there.
Oh yeah.
So huge time saver there. I've used it for that. I always feel like I say the same thing over and over for progress report comments or report card comments. So I use ChatGPT to create a comment bank. You can just put in some topics like like behavior problems. Great musician, but talks too much in class. You can put wonderful students. Love speaking with them outside of class. Really, and they can make these comments sound professional, so that you're not having to recreate and stuff. I'm not sure what I want to say about this kid. Well, just put the details about this student into ChatGPT. Don't put their name in there or anything. And you can start to develop a comment bank, and you can just copy and paste and keep a Google Sheet going or a Google Doc of these comments. What else?
So you can probably start to see that there's the sky's the limit. I'm going to give a few pointers before we wrap up today.
Yeah.
Because like you're saying here, if you ever aren't sure what to do, literally type the words, what can you do for me as a band director, into ChatGPT. Or if you're using I've got the band director buddy. If you ask it, what can you do for me? It'll start to list the things, and then you can go, it'll spark ideas. And then two other things to tell you. If you get home after a long day of work and you're tired and you're like, I don't know what to make for dinner, I don't want to make another decision, open your fridge, take a picture, open your pantry, take a picture, and tell ChatGPT, help me create a meal. And it will, and I have yet to be disappointed in anything it's come up with. It's crazy.
It's amazing.
It's creepy that it can tell that was all the details in there. And then if you're ever doing, like Keith was talking about, different things like the rubrics or setting it up, if you start to tell Chat what you want it to do, before you have it do the thing, at the end of your prompt, I have 7 magic words. If you put them there, it will up your value of what you get out of it 10 times. The 7 words are, do you have any questions for me? And then Chat will read the prompt and ask you any clarifying questions. Like, I had to send the email out about my concert. I've taught 38 years. I know the shit that needs to go into it, but I didn't feel like working that hard. So I said, I have a concert coming up. I need to give the parents all the information. What questions do you have for me? Then it just said date, time, and it asked me all the particulars. What do they wear? What is this required? All the things. I just answered the questions like 1, this, 2, this, and as soon as I did that, 30 seconds later, the email was written. So it took me 2 minutes instead of now I got to type it out, format it, think about it. It reminded me of all the questions that I needed to answer for them. And it took just
That's brilliant.
So anyway,
that's brilliant.
Yeah. So I really am glad that you came on here so that we could talk about it, because sometimes people think I'm crazy because I get so excited about it. So there's a couple of crazy people. I just wanted to share that with all of you out there. I'm not the only one. So anyway, thanks a lot for coming on here and sharing with us what you've done. And we'll be in the comments, like I was saying earlier, the show notes. Anybody can click on there, and we'll have a link to Keith's website in case you want to dive deeper or learn more about what he's got to offer. And thanks to you, Keith, and to all of you listeners who are making a difference in kids' lives every day through the magic of music education. The work you do matters, and so do you. Join us next time on Band Director Boot Camp for another episode of productivity and wellness tips to make your life a little easier.